Okay, hello everybody and welcome to Java tutorial number 3 with me, Hirsch. Okay, that was not a great intro. Anyway, so this is the simple program that we created in the last tutorial, and we run it and we can put in any number including decimals. Since it's a double, we can hit enter and it'll tell us what our number is. But this isn't that useful really because we already know what our number is. We put it in. So this time let's try to make something a little bit more interesting. Let's make it so that it multiplies our number by 5. So how would we do this? Well, what we're doing is we have a double B, and we're not even using A, so let's just get rid of that for the sake of efficiency. And so we have the double B, it creates our scanner, it outputs this text, and then it sets double B to whatever we put in. So this would probably be a good place after we've just gotten the value of B to multiply it by, what did I say before? 10, I think. I don't know. This is bad. Okay, well let's just multiply it by 10. So the way to do this would be B, because we're going to, we could do B equals, now what? Could we do B times 10? Well, the answer is yes, we could do that, but there's a much more efficient way to do it, because essentially what this does is it takes B and multiplies it by 10, and then it sets B equal to that. And how else could we do this? Well, instead of doing that, we could just do times equals 10. So what does that do? B equals, and then it's always itself times 10. That's just a little trick to do that a little bit more quickly, but we're just going to do B times 10. And now, so as you can see, it just takes itself, multiplies it by 10, and sets it back as itself. So everything should work fine when we do this. So let's enter number, let's enter 5, and it gives us 50. So that's great. But let's say we want to do something like multiply it by 10.6. And then what we want to do is we want to output our original number and the new number, which is multiplied by 10.6. So that would be kind of neat, but when we do this, it doesn't work because we run this and we output B, but that's our new one. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to create a new variable for 10.6, and we're going to keep B as whatever it was before. So the way to do this is we're going to create a new double, and we'll call it C. And by the way, you can name variables whatever you want. But I just use, for these tutorials, I'm just using letters because it doesn't really matter. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change this from B equals B times, I forgot what it was already, C. Now we're going to make it C equals B times 10.6. 10.6. So now we have the new variables. First we get, okay, let me go through this again. So we get the input, set it as B. Now we have B. And then we get C and set that to B times 10.6. So now we have both B and C. And let's output both of them. So let's do system.out.print and let's do C. Okay, so as you can see, if we enter 11, what is this? We get a bunch of useless stuff. Well, let's see what we did. We printed a line and we never told Java to go to the next line. So we have to do that. Remember, you have to tell it to do everything. So we're going to do system.out.println B. Now it shouldn't look like a bunch of random stuff. If we put in 11 again, yay, we get 11 and 116.6. So that's basically what we were going for, except this doesn't really make much sense. Nobody's going to know what that is. So let's do something a little bit more interesting. Let's do system.out.print your new number is, and now if we run this and we put in 12, it gives us this. So that's essentially how we can manipulate the number and actually give the user something useful. But just saying your new number is blank is not very helpful because we have no idea what it's done to our old number. So let's do something else. Instead of using 10.6, let's create a new double and call it multiply. Multiply. Okay, and let's set, now here's something that we can also do. rather than only setting it to an input, we could just set it ourselves. So we could say multiply is equal to 10.6. So we have just set this variable ourselves, and we don't even need to use any sort of input. We can just set it ourselves, and that's a great way to do it. Now, we could actually do this even more efficiently, because see, we've created it here, and then we set the value. We could do this all in one step. So let's take this all out, and let's just say double multiply equals 10.6. So what does this do? Well, it does the same thing. It creates multiply, and then it sets it equal to 10.6, all in one line. So it's just much easier to read, much quicker to write too. So that's just a little convenience. So now, instead of multiplying b times 10.6, we can multiply b times the double multiply. There we go. And so now, it will, if we put in our number 12, it does the same thing, except rather than using 10.6, we have the variable multiply. And it's so awesome because it gives us the exact same thing. But here's the trick. There's something really cool we can do with this. So instead of saying your new number is, now we can do something else by saying your number times, and then let's put in this, and let's say plus multiply plus is, and then put in a colon. And now if we do this, we put in 12. We should probably put in a space there just to make it look a little bit nicer. So your number times 10.6 is 3,402.6. So that's kind of neat how to do that. Well, let's see. First, it prints out your number times, and then it prints a space to make it, to give it that space there. Now, we said plus multiply. Well, because this is a string, we can't add a number to a string. That wouldn't really do much, would it? So what we do is we do something called concatenating. And what that does is it'll take another data type, such as a double, and it'll add it to the string by essentially just printing it out. So we just do plus multiply, and then we say plus, and then we concatenate another string on top of that. So we turn it into one long string with all of the information in it. So that's really kind of a quick, easy way to give you useful looking output and stuff. But this is kind of useless because there's really no point in just setting multiply to a static value. We could have just written your number times 10.6. So let's do something different. Let's remove this. Let's not set multiply here. And if you haven't guessed what we're going to do already, what we're going to do is we're going to say system.out.print please enter number 2. So what are we going to do? We're going to multiply by a number that the user wants to multiply, because that's way cooler. So we're going to say multiply equals, oops, I cannot hit equals, in dot next double. So what does it do? It does the exact same thing we did with B, except now it says please enter your second number, or number 2, and then it sets multiply equal to the next double we put in. So let's run this program again. Please enter number. Let's put in 5. Please enter number 2. 5 times 10. Your number was 5. Your number times 10 is 50. So that's an actual useful program, because we could put in something such as this and that, and we can get an answer that we would probably not be able to do by ourselves. So this is a very, very basic calculator that you have just made in Java. So that's pretty neat. Anyway, so in the next tutorial we'll be covering, I said in this tutorial we'd cover data types even more, but I guess we'll do that in the next tutorial. So in the next tutorial I'll go over how to use other data types more than just integers and doubles, and we'll take a look at some other loops and things. So that should be a lot of fun. Subscribe if you want to learn how to do that, and we'll make another cool program. It'll be even cooler, actually. That's my promise. Subscribe. Bye.